Hey folks, Brian Blessing with you here in Las Vegas. Always glad to be with you at BigOnSports.com, and as always, inviting you to follow along on Facebook and Twitter at Big On Sports and talk about a big-time event on the world stage. It's the Ryder Cup. Every 2 years, we get Team United States against the Europeans. Europeans have been dominant. They've won the last 3 Ryder Cups. Man, have fortunes changed. In fact, they've won 8 of the last 10. The event will be staged at Hazeltine. This is a traditional Robert Trent Jones course in Minnesota. A little chillier, so the Europeans will feel at home up in Minnesota. Captains for the event, Davis Love for the Americans, Darren Clarke. He's won a British Open on his resume, and he is beloved by his team. So they are the gentlemen on the forefront of this event. Europe will have 6 rookies on their roster. They are very strong in team matches come Sunday. The format, we get foursomes and 4 balls on Friday and Saturday. So you get a morning and an afternoon session Friday, Saturday. Then it's all about the singles on Sunday. And the Americans have to get out of the gate well because the Europeans thrive on the team aspect of the Ryder Cup. You talk about the number that's available for you here. The United States is up at about a $2.20 favorite. We've seen some money for Europe. Basically, let's make the consensus around $2. U.S. is favored on American soil. Take back on the European side in the $1.70 to $1.80 range. So we are seeing some money on the Europeans. If you want to bet that it's a draw, you'll be rewarded handsomely with a payoff of 12 to 1. Let's talk about the 4 major winners that will be involved in the Ryder Cup. Danny Willett, of course, wins the Masters. On the European team, along with Henrik Stenson, who was an incredible winner of the British Open in that head-to-head matchup with Phil Mickelson. Jimmy Walker wins the PGA, and Dustin Johnson, having a great year, wins the U.S. Open. He's on the American team. And Rory McIlroy comes in with all the momentum after a thrilling win in the Tour Championship in capturing the FedEx Cup. He thinks that momentum could actually help Team Europe coming in. But the Tour Championship also produced a player added to the American team, and an interesting development where Davis Love had the wherewithal to pick a guy at the end of the Tour Championship, so he takes Ryan Moore, who loses in the extra hole playoff against Rory McIlroy. He's on the team. He's a rookie along with Brooks Koepka, who can hit it a mile. And at Hazeltine, Koepka could actually have a very good Ryder Cup. You might want to look at him in matchups. The problem with the American team, you think, when we say they've lost 8 of the last 10, it was that core group of Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, and Jim Furyk, and only Mickelson will play here. He did have a good experience at the President's Cup last year. Maybe that helps his cause here. But in his career, Mickelson sports a 16, 19, and 6 record in the Ryder Cup. And he was counted on so heavily. That's a large reason why the Americans have struggled so mightily. Jordan Spieth and Patrick Reed, the young guns that are in here, that could be very interesting. And you look at a guy who I think is steely and could have a very good Ryder Cup is Zach Johnson. He has a 6-6-2 record, but his game is designed for match play. Let's go to the European side of the equation. And I mean, you know what? They have all these rookies, but they're good rookies. Rafa Cabrera-Bello, Matthew Fitzpatrick, the Englishman, he can play. Andy Sullivan has a great demeanor. He's a happy-go-lucky guy. I think that will serve him well in the Ryder Cup. Pieters might be a bit of a wild card, but sometimes these new guys step up and do great things. Danny Willett, call him a rookie if you like, but this is a world-class player, and Chris Wood will also be on the European side. This is very intriguing. Again, the United States, the game plan is hover around even. You'd love to have a lead going into the singles, but the Americans usually do much better in singles competition, although that wasn't the case last time out when they coughed up a lead. But they do have the raucous home support, and that's one of the unique aspects of the Ryder Cup. It's not a polite golfing applause. They're out there hooting and hollering, rooting for the home side. It's one of the greatest events, the 41st Ryder Cup. It starts on Friday and Saturday with morning and afternoon sessions in foursomes and 4-ball, and then singles on Sunday. Again, the Americans, the consensus about a $2 favorite, but that's a number that likely will come down. Think that there'll be sharp money that surfaces on the Europeans because they know how to play the Ryder Cup. It's going to be a wonderful event, and we're glad to bring it to you right here, BigOnSports.com. Don't forget, follow along on Facebook and Twitter at Big On Sports. Always a pleasure to be with you from Las Vegas. I'm Brian Blessing. Thanks for joining us at BigOnSports.com.